Hey, my friends, it's Brendon Burchard. Welcome to your Growth Day morning show. That shot in the arm of encouragement, of joy, of readiness to go for it, of how can you improve your life today? How can you feel good today? How can you move forward today? That's what we do every day.
Growth Day morning show. And I'm always joined by the amazing Jamie Kern Lima, who is so inspiring, and she's here with us today. What's up, Jamie?
Good morning, Brendon. Good morning, everyone. Happy Growth Day. Happy Growth Day. It's Vision Week.
Happy Growth Day. We are on Vision Week. Today, we're going to make some jokes about how hard it is to have a vision and work towards it. So invite your friends who need some encouragement and inspiration today. Tag up those people on your team who need motivation today. Invite that friend who you know who had a bad week last week, because we're just going to put out some love, some joy, some life advice for having a great day. And so far, we've been talking about Vision Week, and I know so much of the feedback has been, oh my gosh, I have these big dreams, Brendon. I'm overwhelmed. Oh my gosh, I don't believe in myself, or I tried and my husband or my spouse or this person was a jerk, or they shut me down. And this has been real talk all week.
Yeah.
You wanting a better life is not supposed to be easy. It's hard. It sucks sometimes. Sometimes you're running around the house with blender in hand, trying to get ready for your dang thing, and you're just last minute and you're pulling it together, but do it joyously. Do it joyously. Anyway. Jamie, we had a good time yesterday too. Thank you everyone for joining us those of you who join us every single day on this Growth Day morning show. We appreciate you. This is so fun. We love watching your comments. So please tell us where you're from, and let's get into it. Jamie, we're talking about Vision Week, and today's theme is thinking big.
Thinking big. Yeah, it has been a fun week. And Brendon, yesterday, I probably got more DMs than any other. We've been doing Growth Day morning show for 3 weeks now. And the theme this week, Vision Week. 2 days ago, if you have a chance to watch the replay, Brendon went into some of the frameworks on his battle board, and they were super, super applicable and tactical. And then yesterday, we also talked a lot about a lot of really tactical stuff. But one of the things Brendon shared was that he was a hot mess in the morning, and he was running all over the place, literally running out of the shower past his wife in his underwear, holding a blender with a smoothie just to make it in time for the Growth Day morning show. And I got more messages about yesterday, about people just laughing and just
we brought some joy to people's morning yesterday.
Joy. And you know what? I love this so much, because we go deep into content sometimes, and then other times we're just like, okay, here's behind the scenes of what's happening right now building Growth Day, or for me, what's happening right now as my book is launching in 3 weeks. And here's because a lot of people, we talk about dreaming big today. And I feel like a lot of people have these reasons. They think they're not quite ready to dream big yet. And maybe they think they don't have the right support around them, or they don't have the right setup on their computer, or they don't have the right team they've hired, or they don't, all these things. And I think part of you showing and me showing, hopefully both of us, all the real stuff, it's like, oh, you don't always need to have all that stuff together to start, or to dream big and to start having that vision. That's a big vision for where you're going while enjoying the moment.
People, I love that. Big vision for where you're going while enjoying the moment, and knowing that 100% of success stories you have ever heard, that success story began with somebody going 90 miles an hour and putting the wheels on as they were going and building the thing. They endured years of mess and disorganization and trying to figure out, and doubt and risk of failure on the precipice daily. And you don't get that easy path when you want to do great things. Yeah. It's difficult. Les Brown always said, I love Les Brown. Les has been on our stages. Les is a personal development legend. I hope you know who he is. Les Brown always said, he's like, if you want your life to be easy, do hard things. If you want your life to be hard, do easy things. And it just says, it's like, oh, you have to push. You have to struggle. Here's what I want everyone to know. Thinking big today. This is my message to you, and thinking big. You are clueless to the depths of your capabilities. You have no idea what you are capable of. You have no idea what your full potential is. And I'm not judgment. I don't know either. Like, there's one guy up there. For me, I'm a spiritual person, so God's got me. God knows the immensity of the soul he put into this body, and no one else does, including me. I have no idea the immensity of the challenges God's got lined up for me 5 years from now, or 10, or 3, or 4 minutes. Like, you don't know. But what you do know is you're going to arrive, and you will be summoned to call your best forth to serve one day. You will be summoned to rise above your own little insecurities and comforts and joys and ask, wow, how can I get more out of myself to be of service in this moment? Whether that is your first 2 years with a new baby, and you're like, my eyes, I haven't slept, you know? Or it's that first 4 years of your startup. It's going to demand so much of you, but you will rise to it. You will be capable. You will learn as you go. So stop all the waiting, get in the game, put the wheels on as you're going, move towards that dream with more rapidness, because you'll figure it out as you go. It won't be perfect. Jamie said, you're so vulnerable. The other day you said to me, I feel like never in my life, Brendon, have I dropped more balls, I think you were saying.
Mm-hmm.
You know, yeah, tell them about that, because you're thinking big, but she's built $1 billion business. And right now, even after having that experience, she feels like this is life, y'all. Anyway, tell them about that.
I think, you know, when I think back to the early days of building at Cosmetics, there were years of I didn't know what I didn't know, right? And I was trying to do every job in my living room because I couldn't afford to hire anybody. And I think anytime we're also doing something new or dreaming big and trying to go to new levels, just the newness of all of it is overwhelming, right? Because we don't know what we don't know. And so, you know, at the end of a 10-year journey with that, building over 1,000 employees and $1 billion company and all that, I knew a lot about the beauty industry and about manufacturing and legal and acquisitions and building a team and leadership and all those things, right? And now, as a first-time author, I actually
it's a whole new game.
A whole new game. I feel like literally I'm back in my living room, not knowing what I don't know, right? And it's a growth, a major season of growth for me. And you know, you and I, Brendon, talk a lot about just the idea of being a lifelong student, and you know, I'm proud to be a lifetime student, and I'm honored to learn from everyone in our community right now who's posting in the comments and posting in Facebook and posting in Instagram. A part of the Growth Day Morning Show, we learn from each other. I learned from all the other Growth Day coaches, and I'm in a season right now of going, okay, because for the last 5 years, I've been offered book deals because of my story, but I didn't want to have a ghostwriter do it. So I said no for 5 years. I wanted, because I have learned in my life, like, you cannot fake authenticity. And, you know, one of the things I talk about in the book a lot actually is how, you know, authenticity alone doesn't guarantee success, but inauthenticity guarantees failure. And that's in everything, right? And I talk about all the lessons I've learned around that in the book. But then for me to have that book actually truly serve at the highest possible level, I wanted to write every word myself. I knew it had to be authentic. So this has been 2 years, actually, a year and a half, little over a year and a half of growth and of dropping so many balls and
learning new things, messing it up, trying to get into it.
Yeah, like you saw me when I got the first cover in. I was cutting it out and taping it to Jay Shetty's book because it was the right size. Every little thing, I'm like trying to figure it out, and because I want it to be authentic and I want it to be right and I want to have no regrets. But yeah, I am dropping balls everywhere in terms of, I mean, last night I was up all night writing web copy, writing because I want it to be authentic to like the heart and soul of how I want to serve. And I'm doing a big launch event, which we'll talk about later. Yes. Because it's still top secret, but we're going to tell everyone on Growth Day first. But
she's doing it big. She's going for it. She decided to write a book. And I know some of you are thinking about writing a book or launching something new. When she said, I'm going to write a book, she said, I want it to be a bestseller. I want it to really impact millions of people. I want it to be a New York Times bestseller. I want to really get it out there. Even though, please listen, she'd never written a book, had no idea how to write a book, and had zero idea how to promote something.
Yeah.
Her confidence in thinking big came from her belief in her ability to figure things out. She's like, I'll figure it out. So your big vision should not be limited by today's skill set or today's competency. Your big vision should be based on your service you want to give, your dream you want to live with your family. Like, and you will develop the skills along the way as you get in motion towards the thing. You don't start the journey perfect. The definition of perfection is to perfect. To perfect requires that you start. You start something, release something, launch something, and you perfect as you go. Perfect is a verb. It is done to something that is out there, that is released, that is built. To perfect. And so you don't perfect, you perfect. And then as soon as you go, oh, okay, we're going to start this Growth Day morning show. We don't know how to plug it into Instagram or Facebook. We don't know how to use an outward mic, these mics. We don't know what the heck we're doing. Our first 4 days, we were just perfecting how to do that little piece. We still are. I think that's so important. And Jamie, I want to give you credit because sometimes you feel like you're dropping so many balls because you're so good at what you're doing in every other area, but you're also doing awesome and you're getting great momentum, and I'm proud of you.
Thank you. Yeah, and I'm just trying to be brave, and I'm trying to, and this, this is something that I think is huge too. Is we often talk about when I have a whole journey of hearing no for years, right? Experts telling me my vision wasn't going to work for It Cosmetics and all those kind of things, but I still believe that it's our own self-doubt that kills more dreams than almost anything else. It's our own kind of limitations that we put on ourselves, or our own reasons we give ourselves why we need to still wait to do something, or we're not quite ready to write the book, or any of those things, right? And I get why, because doing it all and putting ourselves out there is scary. And sometimes it's easier to not dream big, because then we don't have to be afraid of not hitting that mark, or we stay in our comfort zone, right? But I think that to recap what you said in the start of this, which is so good, it's so good, is until we take those chains off we put on ourselves, we don't know how much we're capable of. We don't know the level we're capable of dreaming and serving and giving and creating and ideating and inspiring, writing and all of those things. And I think that,
and the level of discipline you're all capable of, the level of, so Jamie is in what we call a launch window. So for those who are new, Jamie is launching a book called Believe It, and it comes out next month. I hope that you will pre-order on Amazon. It's called Believe It by Jamie Kern. Comes out next month. She's in this time we call a launch window. A launch window is when your life becomes very deep work, essentialism, high performance habits. You are doing this thing. A lot of balls are following all over there because you have this limited amount of time to launch this thing. And until you've been through that several times, you don't know how much you can get done. I'll give you an example of thinking big. This month, if you told me, okay, Brendon, in 1 month, listen to y'all, in 1 month, rebranded the company, onboarded 20 plus people and teams from outsourcing and internal all around, launched a new offering, brought in all our new growth coaches, in other words, found 8 other new promotional partners and friends to serve, built a new software team, building the software, serving all of our customers without missing too many beats, launching a new community platform, launching this show, and somehow enjoying the month. If you told Brendon, 19-year-old Brendon, that was, he'd be like, I don't know how to hire. I don't know what a brand is. I don't know what a company is. What is it? If you told your former self that, or your future self, I should say, you don't know what you're capable of. And I'm not saying that to be oh, look at me, because I feel like I'm putting the wheels on as I'm going. But I said, okay, let's just get in motion. We're going to figure it out. We're going to go. It's crunch time. Let's go. Let's move things forward. Move things forward. Move things forward. You will perfect as you go. But No way could I imagine that we could do all of this in a single month until you go for it, guys. You got to go for your dreams. Thinking big means moving big, taking big action, taking daily, you might call it small actions, but those daily small actions compound. You got to get in the game. Some of you, it's so easy to sit it out and you're still waiting for someone's approval or someone's understanding. It's like, if no one understands, if you feel like no one understands you, you have no one to blame but you. We have to learn. And I don't say that judgmentally, I had to learn to communicate. I sucked at communicating. I felt like I didn't have connection with people because I didn't know how to communicate. Be vulnerable, share emotions, like create human, like good friendships. I didn't know how to do that. So I did like a lot of you personal growth lovers who read How to Win Friends and Influence People from Dale Carnegie. Anyone read that? Oh my God, changed my life.
Yeah, I need to reread it. I read it like 20 years ago.
So good. Such a classic.
Yeah.
Yes. And I did that because I was terrible with people. And so now I communicate to millions of people daily. So if you told that really awkward dude, oh, you're going to talk to millions of people, you didn't believe it. But as you jump into the dream and you get momentum, you start to believe it more. You get more skills, more capabilities. Those capabilities lead to competency. That competency leads to confidence, and you're moving. I don't know.
Yeah.
Jamie, I'm all fired up today.
Talk to millions of people. You train other incredible teams. I know I always bring up Oprah's team on this show, who I know you've trained, but you train so many people how to do it also. So it's like, not only do you do it now, you also are like one of the top people in the world at helping some of the top people in the world do it themselves. So it's pretty remarkable. And one thing I want to share, because I'm reading the comments, a lot of people saying, oh, it's hard to unchain ourselves. It's hard to start. It's hard to start when we don't know if our idea is good enough, or we don't know if our dream is right, and all that kind of thing. And one thing you just said that I just want to call out, because I think it's really important, is that sometimes people do cheer for you after you've made it. And I want to call this out, okay?
Yeah,
because
so true.
I've lived through this. I have lived through this, okay? I have so many stories, and that's why everyone writing a book, it's like it is the greatest joy to go, oh my gosh, if people knew I went through all this, they would feel less alone. They would feel like they can get through it too, because this is the real stuff that happens. But there were so many people that did not cheer for me until after my company was a success, or after we were splashed in all the magazines, or after. And often when they start cheering for you, then it's in the form of, I always knew that you would make it, or I'm so proud of you. I've been rooting for you from the beginning. You're like, no, you were, but it's okay, right? I think it's
right.
Or they're like, they're telling people how they know you, and it's wild to watch this. And it's not that they mean harm. Here's what when I've peeled back the layers on this, there's a couple lessons here I want to share with anyone, especially if they're scared to start, they're scared to take that jump, if they're scared to dream big and call their shot and go for it and all of that. Because what we start to do, I think, as humans, is we share our dreams or our ideas with the people around us. Sometimes we share them in groups. And then sometimes we share them with experts, or with, people in our industry that have had a lot of success or whatever. And then when we don't get the kind of response we're hoping for, right, then we start to doubt ourselves, and we start to think we're not ready, or we think, oh, you know what? A million other people have done this idea. Like, maybe I shouldn't do it. It's already been done so many other times. So here's the big thing I've learned, okay, is, first of all, as we know, the only way to ever have a human connection is to show up authentically, right? And that can be with your partner, with a friend, with your customers online, with what you're doing, right? With how you're launching your dream. So just to take a step back, if you are doing something authentically, right, your dream. So in my case, there's 1 million beauty companies out there, and I launched a beauty company. Well, there's millions of them. Someone had already done it. Millions of people had already done it, right? But when you do something authentically, no one can do it the way you're doing it, right? So by definition, what you're doing is novel. By definition, it's never been done before. And here's what I've learned. Other people, typically, even experts, even visionaries, they typically can't imagine something being successful unless subconsciously they've already seen proof that it's already been done and it's already been successful.
Yes.
But because you're doing it authentically to you, it's never been done before. So don't be surprised when the people around you who love you or the experts who you have so much respect for don't initially give you the reaction to your big dream or your big idea. It's because no one's done it the way you're going to do it. So it's never been done before. It's novel. It's new, right? And most people would never admit this, but unless subconsciously they've seen it that way and they've seen it succeed, they're not going to believe that it will. So
yeah.
my
Except,
whole point is,
except people who have done it themselves.
Themselves,
yeah. Like you and I believe in people. We believe in you guys so much because when you meet people who came from nothing and they built it and they did it, they're the ones who usually are on board. Like, sounds like, go for it. Don't know if it's going to work, but cheer them on, encourage it. Like people who've actually done it are the most encouraging. Yes.
Yeah, and we've gone through the journey of hearing thousands of people not believe in us. And then when you come out of the other side of that, you're like, and you have a whole new perspective, right? But the truth is, I mean, in my own journey, for example, as it pertains to building the company, I also learned years later, the hard way, after crying myself to sleep a lot of nights, after hearing a lot of no's, I learned, oh, wait, most of the beauty retailers, they're amazing and they're great. And they all said no to me for years, but they've also never actually built anything themselves.
Yes.
Right? And it's like, oh, and to your point, that's why I'm so passionate about Growth Day and supporting it however I can, but also this morning though, right? Because it's like when you surround yourself with people that are in that space that share these kind of stories, then you're like, oh, okay, I get it that like Aunt Margie said that she didn't think this was going to be a success, but that's okay. She loves me anyway, and she's never built something like this. So she's seeing it through the best lens she knows how, but I'm not going to let that penetrate me or me calling my shot, me going for my dream, me dreaming big, right?
Love that. I love that. That's so good. That's so good. I see a lot of people posting, what if you don't know your dream or, want to dream big, but don't know what your thing is. Here's what you do know. You absolutely know what draws your interest and your passion this week, right? It's sometimes I don't have this big vision. Like your vision manifests more largely, or your vision gets bigger as you're in momentum towards your passions. Sometimes you don't know. Like I didn't know, I had no idea. Listen to this, y'all. I'm like one of the most strategic planning people you ever met. 2 years ago, I didn't know we'd be starting Growth Day. 2 years ago, after I've been doing this for 20 years. 20 years. 2 years ago, I didn't see this vision. It's when you are in motion towards your passions, when you are living in alignment with your purpose or what brings your heart, spirit of service. When you feel in tune with God or spirit or what's right for you, like Jamie always said, your authenticity. When you are living in alignment with your authenticity, you're pursuing your passions, even if you don't know the end game. Because you know what? The end game changes. Ask Jamie 5 years ago, what's the end game? I'm building my company. That's what I'm doing. Right? The book is not there yet. $1 billion exit is not there yet. I'm trying to survive doing this QVC show today, y'all. Not to say she didn't have vision. I'm just to say that the vision expands when you're in motion towards your passions.
5 years ago, I was hoping I showered that day because we had like 36 hours of shows, and I was just praying that I got through it and could serve. Like I was a hot mess. So absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. Your vision expands when you are in motion towards your passions. Your vision becomes clear when you are in more consistent alignment with the best of who you are, doing things you enjoy, and treating people well. When you break any of those off, you stop treating people well, guess what? The vision goes like this because you have conflict and anger in your life. And the more you have that, the more the more you mistreat people, the more you become narrow like this, and you can't have expansive vision or expansive success. The more that you lie to yourself every day or every night by not living in alignment with the authenticity, the truth, your personal freedom, the more that your brain doesn't trust you the next day. You keep lying to yourself. The more you lie to yourself, the less you trust yourself. The less you trust yourself, the less confidence you have. The less confidence you have, the less action you take. The less momentum you get. So these things all sound so simple, but this is a philosophy that we talk about in Growth Day. It's a philosophy of understanding how important it is to live who you are, to pursue things that are meaningful to you, to allow yourself aliveness and joy and beauty in that moment, in that day, in the effort on the journey. So we always talk about aliveness, connection, and meaningful pursuits, right? We're always talking about those things in Growth Day. Aliveness, connection, and meaningful pursuits. And when you're feeling alive at what you're doing, you're connecting with yourself, other people, God, creator, and you're doing things that are meaningful, you're passionate pursuits. Trust me, please know your vision will expand. It will become more clear only in motion.
So good. You know, one thing I want to talk about actually that I think it's going to take 5 or 10 minutes, so I'm going to save it for tomorrow, but I think this is a big one as we dream big, is needing the need for a lot of us, okay, to remove labels.
Yes. We need to talk about that tomorrow. Yes.
Or that we put on ourselves, and these labels, whether they came from our childhood or from other people or from well-intended family or from ourselves, these labels, like we need to get rid of some of them in order to really, really dream big. And I just have,
love that.
Something keeps coming to my heart to talk about that. So I'm going to save it for tomorrow. But anyone right now, part of the morning show with us, or watching the replay, like I feel like it's a human experience that so many of us get these labels put on and then we let them stick. We let them stick. We don't realize they're removable. It's time to remove those.
And every label you have can have a different meaning too. Let me give you an example. So I started in the corporate world, and back in the day, my first big job out of college, out of grad school, was working for this big consulting company. And I go down to San Francisco, the big city, and I'm from Montana, and a partner says, he's just a kid from Montana. Now, if you've heard any video I've done over the last decade, I'm like, I'm just a kid from Montana. And it's right, his label was dismissive. My label, my meaning to it was empowering. So you're the only one who gets to determine the meaning of the labels, right? Whether they are accurate, whether they are true, whether they're meaningful, whether they're not. You get to, if you don't like the label, you don't have to let it stick. If you want to flip the label, you can flip the label. And when you do that, it gets you more close to who you are. The more close to who you are, the more the vision becomes clear.
This is so big. I'm excited to dive into this tomorrow.
Me too. Okay, tomorrow, listen everybody, Jamie and I are here every day, 7:30 Pacific Standard Time for you weekdays. We are here live, Instagram and on our Facebook group at Growth Day. We'd love for you to be official members of Growth Day. So you get these replays. You also get live coaching from the world's best coaches every single week, all of 2021 for less than $1 a day. That's growthday.com. Make sure you go to growthday.com, growthday.com. And with that, we'll end today. Thank you for your encouragement today, Jamie, for your bright smile, for the joy and spirit you bring into the world.
Thank you. Thank everyone part of this community. We're building this show together, all of us. It started with an idea, and now we're 3 weeks in, and it's an honor, and it's inspiring, and it's total honor to bring the joy with you, Brendon, every single morning, and everyone that's part of it. So thank you.
All right, everybody, go have an awesome day. Every day is a good day to change. Every day is a good day to get more progress. Every day is a growth day. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.